Let this be a lesson to everybody who is currently in love or may fall in love and think you're going to be in love forever. So, a little background for those of you who don't know. I was engaged for over a year and a half to a woman who we will call Fly based on her online handle. Um, I think I still have like one video up on the channel that still has her in it. But anyway, so Fly and I dated for over 2.5 years, and we got engaged. And last year, in the year 2019, we filed as common law married because we thought we were going to be married forever. And married forever, together forever. We were actually supposed to. The wedding date was actually October of this year, but that's neither here nor there. Late March of 2019, Fly and I broke up. We separated, and we didn't talk to each other for over 9 months. Cut to this year. I go to file my taxes, find out she's filed as married but separate. Now, apparently, in Kansas, common law marriage counts as real marriage for the purposes of that you can't file as single until you get an annulment or divorce. Now, here's the fun thing: annulments don't exist in Kansas. So here's that story, right? So I message my ex-fiance and tell her, hey, we need to go and get this taken care of because I would really like to file as single, and also, in the future, if we ever want to get married to somebody else. So after 9 months of not talking to her, I have to go and get this taken care of. Now, the weirdest thing is, like I said, this is common law marriage. We don't have a marriage license. We never did the ceremony. We never did anything like that. I would say we never consummated, but God, it was so. Sex is probably the only good thing about our relationship, and I think both her and I agree on that. Anyway, so we ended up, we go to the courthouse, and we ask the lady behind the counter for annulment paperwork, and she goes, oh, I don't have that. Well, you're the family law court. If anybody has that, you should. She goes, no, you have to go through an external company to do that. An external company for a legal action. She goes, yes. Come to find out through research, annulment doesn't exist in Kansas. So, and the external company is in order to make the annulment happen like federally or some shit. I guess. I don't know. I never really fucking looked into it. But what I do know is that if the courthouse doesn't have annulment papers, that means annulment doesn't fucking exist in the state of Kansas, right? So we went ahead, and turns out the divorce was, to file the paperwork was $200. And so we sit down and we started talking, and we started filling out the paperwork. And between having to go through the paperwork and the waiting time and seeing this person and that person, we went through 4 different floors. 4. We got the paperwork. We brought it back to the person who gave us the paperwork. They told us we had to go to the 4th floor. We go to the 4th floor. We bring it to that person. They tell us we didn't fill everything out correctly, because apparently, even if you don't have fucking children, they still want you to fill out the paperwork regarding the children. So my ex sits there, writes NA a bunch of times on a shitload of lines. We go back to them. They say, okay, cool. So you have to go see the judge. Cool. Can we go see the judge? No, the judge is out to lunch till 1:30. What time is it? It's fucking 12:45. So me and my fiance, ex-fiance, go down to the basement floor. We're sitting there drinking water, talking about how our lives have been going. We get to the... I fucking hate this lady. We get back up there at 1:30. They send us to the judge. We don't even see the judge. We don't even talk to her or him or it or fucking Zorg. I don't know. I have no idea who the judge was. We just go up there, some fucking secretary or somebody brings it to the judge in their chambers, comes back 10 minutes later, says, all right, they signed it, and gave us back the paperwork. So then we got to take that paperwork back to the 4th floor and give it to them. And then they go, okay, cool. So you keep this section. We're like, oh, this is what's like officially. And they're like, no, you got to come back in 60 days. Back in 60 days for what? To turn that paperwork in. Can't you take it now? Nope, 60-day waiting period. What? Turns out there's a policy in place in case a bunch of jackasses in the heat of the moment go, we're getting a divorce. There's a waiting policy. But here's the kicker, you pay the money anyway. So I dropped $200 yesterday for a divorce on a marriage that never happened. So, just for the rest of you, do yourselves a favor. Don't file as married until you're actually married. And the kicker is, the only reason we filed as married was because we were going to get like $300 more on our taxes. And again, we thought we were going to stay together, only for it to fall apart literally 2 months later. That's insanity right there. That right there is absolutely ridiculous. And then we had to go through the process of a divorce for a marriage that never happened. That right there is how horseshit the government is. And that's how common law marriage works. So just take my advice. Just be careful. I don't know.